Daaji, namaste.
Namaste, Swati.
Thank you for joining us today to talk about this meditation and health in honor of Doctor's Day. So my name is Dr. Swati Kannan, and I am a surgical dermatologist in San Diego, California. I have been a heartfulness trainer for 2 years and a practitioner for 10. So I'm really delighted to speak to you today. And for the audience, Daaji is the global guide for heartfulness meditation. So welcome.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, and happy Doctor's Day.
Just to get started, I think it's a lot more open-minded nowadays to talk about meditation, and people are more willing to try it. I think that religious connotation that used to be associated with meditation isn't as prominent as it used to be.
And now it's, I think, meditation and health, meditation and yoga, health and yoga, all these things are going, they're kind of interwoven, see? And there's so much of medical research in this field, and I think today's youth is more impressed by the research in the medical field, now combining with spirituality. I think you're getting best of both the worlds. See?
In medicine, we talk about the 4 pillars of health. So one of them being nutrition, second one being physical activity, in which physical yoga fits, into that pillar. Third one being sleep, and the fourth one being stress management. So how do you think meditation fits in one of these pillars, and how can it really be beneficial for health?
So it's not only for these 4 things. Meditation can be helpful in every creative activities of our life. Every creative activities of our life, especially heartfulness way. Because everything that you do, think, have an attitude with, it is heartfelt. And whenever we do anything connected with the heart, it becomes creative. See, when you're forced to do things, it cannot be creative. But when your heart is associated with any activity, joy goes with it. Your willing participation will be part of it. And so the entire act becomes very creative and unique in approach. Like you are forced to cook, for example, versus you enjoy cooking because your heart is inclined to do that, see? There's a big difference. You read a book, you ask a child, you force a child to read a book versus a child who loves to read book. It's different things, see? So heart has its own way of releasing itself. And find how it can and try to touch all activities through heart, you see. Then those activities will also become heart-based and spiritual. So we don't have to close our eyes every time you do something. People, even though when they close their eyes, they are not in touch with divinity. They close their eyes and maybe thinking of, oh, I wish I had gone to this movie instead of that movie. I wish I had this friend instead of that friend. I wish I had done this business instead of that business. Things like that, see. But here, through heartfulness way of practice, I think much more is taught, trained, somehow infused. You see, when a newcomer is on the verge of starting this meditation, I always tell that person that, look, I must emphasize this thing, that you must not have artificial faith. Make-believe things will not work with spirituality. You must have a scientific bent of mind. And how so? In science we observe and we conclude. We experiment and we conclude. Same thing should be with our meditations. Do your meditation and conclude it for yourself. Do this meditation. Meditate with transmission or meditate with pranahuti. This is a special feature of heartfulness meditation. There are meditations and meditations, but this heartfulness meditation is with yogic transmission coming from the guide. And with this transmission, everything changes. And again, you don't have to believe in my words. Do it and see how this transmission can change your meditation. Whether you are doing transcendental meditation, or you may be doing XYZ meditation, or you may be doing any form of meditation, even a worship. Even I tell namaz people, see, people who do namaz in the mosque, or people who are going to Jain temple or Swaminarayan temple. Just have a touch of the yogic transmission when you close your eyes in front of a statue or a murti and see what happens to you. See, we have been worshipping so many deities, gods and goddesses, or you may be just meditating on your own way. Fine, it's perfectly fine. But see how by simply including yogic transmission can change everything, especially your inner experience. And then once you start experiencing this heartfulness way, I would say it is only the beginning. Experience is only the beginning. Because experience must lead you to something else. It must encourage us to a next step. And that step must take us to another step. And that's how our foundations after foundations after foundations are laid for the highest. So this is the journey in brief, I think, on heartfulness.
So the defining characteristic of heartfulness is transmission.
That is one of them, yes. That's a major one, actually.
One of the main things.
Yes, yes.
And how do you think transmission would help somebody who has a lot of anxiety or a person who suffers from depression? Because these are this is a phenomenon that's happening in our culture, is increasing rates of anxiety and increasing rates of depression. And these people are looking towards meditation and yoga to help them. So how do you think the heartfulness way can help them in this struggle?
I was afraid that you'd ask this question because meditations are mainly in the Eastern world are adopted for a different reason. You see, it has main purpose of self-realization or God realization, right? But these days people ask, oh, will it cure me from anxiety? Will it remove my tension? Will it remove my blood pressure? Etc., etc., etc. See? Now, we have to look at the reasons why these things are proliferating so fast. Anxiety. See? I'll share with you a kind of a joke or a kind of a situation that will make you understand. There was an old man who was just watching one building burnt by being, it was on fire. And while it was on fire, he became quite hysterical and started crying like a baby. My building is being engulfed. And then suddenly the neighbor comes and says, no, don't worry, Kaka, this building is no longer yours. Your son had sold this building last week to somebody. So Kaka becomes very happy. All of a sudden, the tears that he had seemed to have disappeared. And he said, oh, thank God for telling me this. And he became quite elated, actually. A moment before, when he had this association that, oh, my son's building is, now coming down because of fire. And he was crying because of that. Next moment, someone says, your son had sold this building last week. Not too long ago, so he's happy. Son comes rushing on the scene, and then he says, somebody called the fire truck and all this kinds of thing, and he was himself hysterical. He said, then Papa asked him, why are you hysterical? He said, look, Papa, I tried to sell it, but the deal didn't go through. So he starts crying again, see, the Kaka again. So this is how our life is, see. The way we associate ourselves, how we identify ourselves with things, with properties, with relationships, whether it is out of right understanding or wrong understanding or illusion, we react to illusions. The reality may be true, it's the building is being burned, it's a reality. But the fact that it is not yours creates a different set of emotion and mood. You see? Now, a person who is spiritually inclined, his thinkings are of a different order. He says, okay, though this house belongs to me, I had purchased it once, I earned it once, I'll earn it again. I'll make it again.
Yeah.
He gets some sort of inner strength from unknown source from within. He develops that confidence that, yes, okay, there must be something behind all these things, and then he gathers his strength and come out of it. See, other person would go crazy. I mean, something, building is being burned. I mean, it's going down. There's nothing you can do now. So cool down. Do the best you can. Worrying is not going to help you. If I am in a situation that is creating stress and anxiety, accept it. If I'm going to fight with it, it's not going to disappear. And this acceptance comes through good understanding. And this understanding would come when I reflect within myself. And I come to some sort of solace and understanding. Yes. And some courage would come from unknown source. It's a matter of experience again. When we go deep within our meditation, everything is ironed out. Everything will find its balance spot. So, directly or indirectly, meditation, I would say, does help. It does help in reducing anxiety levels. But I would not say that we should totally remove our stress levels. Stress levels also contributes to something. Suppose you are a surgeon, right? Dermatology. Imagine you didn't have a stress before your study. Some level of stress is required, otherwise you wouldn't have studied well.
It's very true. I'm stressed on a daily basis, but it makes me a better surgeon.
But it should not be so much that it gives you headache.
Right.
One should be able to, you have to have it and respond to it. See, stress is a mechanism. I would consider that as a mechanism or an inner signal to act.
Yes.
Once it crosses its limit, then some things should happen from within ourselves. Conscious effort should be made. Many a time, without making even conscious effort, we adjust accordingly. A person may not even have to consciously act and subdue the stress, because it is his inner nature. Inner radar is so well equipped, he can laugh at a situation. He is not trained to laugh at a situation, but it is innate in such a person. Okay, what can I do? I have to study. What can I do? The building is burning. I can't do nothing anymore. Before that, I could have taken the step how not to allow this thing to happen in the first place. Now I missed that opportunity. Now building is burning. I can do nothing about it. So it's a post facto analysis. Most people go crazy even before things happen.
Right.
There is exam and there is an interview with some, you're going for a job and you're going. If you worry too much about the interview, you will not prepare yourself well. And if you go too casually also, you might fail. See, the fear is needed to some extent, but not so much that it can disable you altogether mentally.
Yes. Yeah, I think you need a balance of those negative and positive emotions in order to function
Exactly.
well. In psychology, they speak a lot about accepting failure as a process to become better. I think meditation is just part of the equation for stress management, like you said. The other part is acceptance, changing your mindset, almost turning the other way when a building is burning and saying it's okay.
To me, meditation is like looking at yourself from all angles. Having looked at yourself from all angles, then you can say, oh, this is wrong with me, let me adjust this wrinkle, or let me adjust this hairdo, let me adjust my face, things like that. It gives you a chance to act on yourself so that you can improve upon your perception, inner as well as outer.
Well, thank you and namaste. And for those of the members in the audience who are watching this for the first time and are interested in meditation, you can go to heartfulness.org and click on experience. There you will find ways to meditate with a guide, or if you want to try it yourself. So thank you again.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you.
Okay.